welcome to another Weeb Wednesday. And for people on my side, you're going to notice something different. I am in
Right,
3D.
let's
Hello.
refresh this and actually just saw your arm just like straighten out like a fucking plank of wood.
Yeah, it'll do that because I'm not using the best tracking hardware at the moment.
Yeah,
But
that's fair. What was it? Just like a USB fucking webcam or something?
yeah, I'm just using a webcam.
Excellent. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Lay down. No, don't look at me like that, cat.
Yeah, so
This
uh
is fucking, my cat's standing at my desk and he's just like he's staring at me with his like wide eyes. He's not got the zoomy eyes, but they're pretty wide. And like he looks at me, looks down at my lap, and then steps forward onto my the armrest of my chair, and then looks back up at me. It's like, no, go away, stop it, you
yeah,
little
so
bastard.
we're going to shout out somebody new, Moppiz, who is the person I went ahead and commissioned for this 3D model.
Oh, you even set up a command for it. Well done.
Yep. Let me. I'll just move over here. All right. So you can actually see the whole thing. They did an excellent job. Nothing to be done about the hair clipping. At least not without me getting into physics
Yeah,
stuff.
you would definitely need like a bunch of. This is gonna sound weird to people who don't know anything about animation, but you definitely need a bunch of bones in the hair for that.
Yeah, which I can do. It's just gonna take a while.
Yeah, just for everyone, that's that's just what you call them in animation and 3D animation is like when it's
Yeah, it
you
them
get like little
bones.
joints in it so it can fold and bend and everything.
Yes,
Because you can't actually simulate cloth like that. The way that you have to do it is you put literally like thousands of bones in a thing, and that's how you simulate cloth.
yep.
In fact, like people who are on Twitter should have like probably saw the thing that was going around a couple weeks ago where it was like tests of like how many bones, how many vertices you put into like a sheet to make it do cloth physics, right? And it's something like 4,096 before you start getting actually like proper cloth physics.
Yeah,
And the hair is pretty similar. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty similar.
yeah, more or less.
It's like a rope instead of actual cloth, but close enough. That might be because rope is literally just like braided braided strands of fabric. So
Yep. Yeah, so what you're gonna get from that is basically like, well, the main thing is uh you put bones and things along major points where you're going to use them, and it also helps with the whole collision thing.
yeah, like for example, an arm, because if you include the hand at least, maybe not the fingers, but the hands, uh, a real life arm would have three bones in it for like animation purposes,
Yeah.
which means two joints.
Granted, I do have animations for fingers.
Oh, congratulations! You can flip off the camera. Hell yeah!
Yes, I can.
It's hard to see because like there's no like black outline on it, and your a slime membrane skin thing is like just the exact same color all over. But I do enjoy that. That's great.
Yep.
That's actually a problem that I'm gonna have to deal with too if I eventually get one. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, getting that outline to work for you or figuring something out to give some variation.
I can give
Yeah.
myself talents. That could work too.
Yeah, that could work.
I could do it the same way that I did the sixth horseman that I did. That design was where the fingertips are like blacker, like they're slowly like
Yeah.
sort of like a cloth absorbing ink. Yes,
Yeah, you
hi
could do
Emperor. I
that.
see you staring at me, fucker.
And
Handsome boy.
there are good ways to do that. Like, it kind of helps that I do have, fingerless gloves. to give a little bit of variation at least.
Yeah. Hi, buddy. Yes, stop staring at me like that. I'm not going to give you anything.
But yeah,
You don't even like treats anyway, fucker.
eventually I will get a proper camera going. But today is not that day. Today is the day where I get to just show this off. Being a VTuber on a limited income is suffering.
Are those suspenders or just like an outline on your shirt?
It's just an outline on the shirt.
Okay, because I was gonna say like, if those are suspenders.
Yeah, no, those aren't suspenders. At least not on this version of the outfit.
I do see suspenders there. They're just like draped down. Well, unless that's like part of a belt or something. I don't know. You're small on my screen because I have to like minimize the window as much as possible to fit the fucking captioner over there so I can see what it dies or not.
Yeah, fair enough. But yes, I am very happy with my model. There's a few things that will change. Like I decided at first I was okay with the brown on the eyebrows, but I think I'm gonna go with the darker green.
Yeah, that's what I would have done in the first place.
Yeah,
But,
I just wasn't thinking
you know,
about it
you
until
didn't,
I was.
you didn't ask me to design your character, so you know.
Yeah, and like that is what it is on the proper design anyway. It was just something I didn't think about when I was being shown the work in progress.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I've done that a couple times, like that thing of white that I have. Um, I didn't think about it at the time, but my friend, the guy that I hired for it,
Mm,
uh, did not did not put claws on her toes. She just has like normal fucking toenails now.
yeah, so stuff like that, and it is such a simple fix. It won't take a great deal of effort.
Let's see, let me fucking go pull that up on screen.
But yeah, Mappas did a great job on just a very good budget Vroid
That's a really
avatar.
high res thing, but here you go. See, she's just got normal toenails. I think her fingers also don't have claws. Yeah, she doesn't have any claws at all, even though like she regularly uses them in combat.
And I actually now have a panel. It's just a, you know, just a basic text panel, but it does credit both Cappy and Mappas for their work on my stuff.
I did notice this when I did the commission originally, but I didn't want to bother Sound about it. But the materials for the weapons are not right.
Fair
The
enough.
bow is supposed to be bone, and the swords, which are the falxes, are supposed to be bronze, and then that knife is a crystal. But he just did iron and steel for it all, which is
Yeah.
fine. But you know,
And I am obligated to go through the toggles. Plus, I want to show off anyway, but.
yeah, of course, of course. Let's see this shit.
So, just a basic joy, that's easy. Anger.
Oh, I like that look a lot. Like the red on black up for the eyes is great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, that was something I very liked for Cappy's design originally, and it works very well in 3D.
Like I might just be a sucker for that kind of look though, because I like that on everything, literally everything.
Yeah. And then we have Sorrow, a blush,
Get your ass out of here.
and a surprised or scared. So, I am very excited for all of that. And just doing more with this going forward. Just
It'll be interesting trying to do mine because mine doesn't have a mouth.
yeah, that's the one thing I was wondering. Like, if you were going to change that for the VTuber kind of model or not.
I think one or two modes might have like a weird fucking goopy ass like string mouth, but
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, people do make it work. It's just a thing. And you know what? Since the hands are misbehaving, we're gonna turn off hand tracking for now.
you'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's mainly just getting the proper hardware and like having a separate camera for the hands versus following my mouth movements.
Yeah, trying to do both at once is probably too big of an ask for a webcam.
Yeah, probably more than a little bit. It's interpreting something as hands that are not actually hands is what's happening.
Interesting. I don't want to know. That sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what it is. It might be my headphones.
You know, it could be. Yeah.
So we'll have to see on that.
Marry yourself, fucker. Go away.
But yeah, I'll get a higher detailed camera and that'll help with some of this. So, what have you been up to?
Um, I can't remember if I think this happened after the last stream that we did, but I responded to a Reddit writing prompt thing on our writing prompts.
Yeah, this was after last stream. At least
Okay,
the last
just make
stream we
sure.
were together on.
Uh, Brain. Anyway, it was about like so the actual prompt was something I'm not going to quote it exactly because I have a bad brain, but it was something along the lines of like some time ago you donated in quotes like genetic material to a research thing or whatever, and then like lately you've been seeing superheroes on the TV, and then they show up at your house, so blah blah blah, that sort of thing. Uh, I went with a vampire donated like blood, spinal fluid, fucking bone marrow, like literally anything that a person has in them, they donated at least a little bit of it. Because I started off the thing with something like, what sucks about being a young vampire? You don't have any generational wealth. Only it's not so generational for you.
Yeah.
So like the character fucking donates a shit ton of like genetic material of all kinds to a bunch of occult researchers because like you need the money, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I've had like ideas for like an alien character who's just very obviously an alien, can't disguise themselves, and their way of making money was like, oh yeah, you want to make regenerative shit out of my body for healthcare purposes? Sure. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
do.
like in the setting that I chose though, like because I've been working on this setting a little bit in the background for a long time now.
Right.
This one is the like we have Vampire the Masquerade at home
Oh
that
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
made,
yeah. I
which
remember.
I think it's better than Vampire the Masquerade, but that's because like I'm not a Nazi, so you know I don't have really awful business practices and shit like that, et cetera, et cetera.
What's Watsy done lately?
Oh, in the fucking the World of Darkness is not published by Wizards of the Coast. It's White Wolf and Paradox, and the White Wolf has been doing some really shitty things. I don't remember any specifics because I have a bad brain, but one
Oh,
of my
okay.
colleagues is very in tune with like what video game and tabletop companies do, and they told me some shit with sources. I didn't just believe this just because like my friend said so. They showed me some shit, and I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah,
If I had those sources handy, I'd
about a
mhm.
year ago, some controversy around this book was the inclusion of very real, very evil Nazi leaders.
I knew there was some Nazi shit to do with it.
Uh huh. Let's see here.
But anyhow, uh, in this setting, like vampires are full on undead. Like they cannot, they just not there, right? Like there's nothing that they can do. So like any vampire donating this kind of thing would reasonably assume that they would not, like the occult researchers would not be able to do anything with it. However, they did manage it. They did manage to do something and made vampiri as like, bioweapons essentially. Not in the sense of like a disease, but an organic super soldier kind of weapon. And people were like, I want to see some more of it. So I've been working on that.
Yeah, fair enough. And Paradox Interactive, their money schemes are just like their DLC schemes are just shit.
Yeah.
They've always been shit.
Like this is why I don't play Paradox games anymore, or at least at the very least not on stream. Just like
yeah, just
as much as I fucking love stuff like Tyranny and all that shit, like I can't. I fucking can't.
Yeah, maybe Tyranny, because Tyranny doesn't do that, but if I'm playing most Paradox games, it's through my friend Jolly Roger.
Yeah, that's what's going on now. Like, if I'm going to be playing Stellaris ever again, it's going to be with Nate.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not giving them any more money for like the fucking 30 DLC that I've missed since fucking Stellaris came out, because I have a couple of them, but like once they started like getting going on it, it's like nah, it's fine.
Yeah, nah. That's why it sucks that they bought Prison Architect.
Yeah, it's ugh.
Granted, Prison Architect like has some, kind of uncomfortable themes to it, but that's part of the point.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think Prison Architect is like too bad, because like that is kind of the point, that it's terrible, right?
Yeah,
it's that whole media literacy thing that the kids are failing at these days.
Yeah,
and like people of our generation too. I don't expect people from the older generations before us to succeed at this, because fucking education was not as good in previous generations.
Yeah,
but like the kids, please.
Granted, thanks to the outburst of Everett True, I can say, no, you did know better in the past.
It's true, but like what I mean by that is education wasn't quite as standardized across the US.
No.
So like instantly, I can forgive, maybe not forgive, but at least like give a small pass to people of like previous generations not quite getting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like they may not have grown up in a place where they were taught that in school.
Yeah, and I wasn't taught media literacy. The only reason I have anything approaching media literacy is because of people on the internet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even we weren't actually taught that. Like, we had, English lit or whatever the fuck, but like, it's not.
Hell, even my
people
fucking
will say
film history. Even my film history class didn't really teach me media literacy. It just taught me historical movies and their connections to the modern day.
That's exactly what I was going to say about like English lit and everything. It's like, so I took more than most people did in classes for like media stuff, because I'm an artist. None of them taught like any kind of like artistic or media literacy or criticism at all. Just like none of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's
all it did was like teach the history and like various techniques that writers use. Right. That's it.
And it's one of those things where now we have very hard camps, like a lot of things, especially in the US, where it's, the drapes are just blue, or no, there is a meaning in literally every frame of a movie.
Yeah, like
somewhere between those two extremes doth the truth lie, and it changes depending on the film you're talking about.
Yeah, on the particular piece of media that you're talking about, like it changes depending on which, and you need to be able to like figure out where that changes from.
Yeah,
and what the new standard is for each individual thing, and that's what we mean by media literacy.
Yeah,
we don't mean not being able to, or being unable, or being completely able, like either hard camp of like looking into things. It's that in the case of the curtains are blue, the classic thing, that one is just the curtains are blue. That specific one, yes, but like people use it as a rallying cry for everything.
Yeah,
And this is not.
Yeah, they
That's
use
not
it.
okay.
Yeah, they use it just to shut off their brain. And I don't care what an author says. If they do something at like a consistent thing, they are doing something at least subconsciously. Like if the only time the lights are mentioned to be off in a scene are when the character's sad, then the darkness becomes also a metaphor for the character's sadness, whether they intended it or not.
Yeah, of course. And like in Stephen King's case, for the curtains are blue, it was literally just like the description of the room that he always gives whenever you go into a room in a scene.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't anything different.
Yeah, like it's a lot about if you're doing just your own reading. It's about a consistency. I mean, you can pull things out of inconsistent things that are just one-offs, but if you're
Yeah, sometimes like even the inconsistent one-offs are kind of the point. Like they are something. Like I said, like we said, it depends on the specific piece of media you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things where people just absolutely shut off their brains for all media, and it's doing bad things to us. Like, as a society, obviously, we try to have some media literacy here on Black Dragon Radio.
We try. We very much try. And maybe I'm good at it. I'm pretty sure I am, but I don't know for sure.
I think
because I generally
we're okay at
don't
it.
go listen to other people's podcasts.
But
yeah, something to fucking say. There was something about like Souls games there.
Oh yeah, like Souls games.
Souls games are like one of those things where you're supposed to like look into like read into literally everything.
Yeah,
but that's because it's specifically set up to be that way, right?
Yeah, like the whole point.
Michael Zaki has gone on record to say that like he does that on purpose.
Yeah, like the whole point of all of these games really are for you to read into the world via clues rather than being directly told, which sometimes works poorly. Where I think there was misunderstandings where they didn't intend to be misunderstandings.
I think even those are intentional, or at least are a happy accident for Michael Zaki.
Yeah.
Because, like, as we've talked about before, he has gone on Michael Zachary. Thanks, Caption.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he's gone on record of saying that, but also Dark Souls 3 was made in part to deconfirm a lot of shit. Like, no.
It's true, but I think they only made Dark Souls 3 because Dark Souls 2 was forced to be made, and Dark Souls 2 was forced to be made because of the publisher, not their own choice, right? Like, Michael Zaki did not want to make a Dark Souls 2 or a Dark Souls 3. He wants to, like, do a one-offs for each thing.
Yeah, kind of, but I do think
like he has said that he wants to like explore these worlds in other forms of media, but not more games specifically, because he always mentions like books or manga or more like movies or whatever.
Which,
not a sequel.
The manga and stuff have been great for Elden Ring.
Yeah, there's actually 2 manga for Elden Ring.
Yes, there's
one is far better than the other, and it's the funny one that's better than the other one.
It's true. It's really true.
Granted, like the other one isn't bad. It's just
one's
not
better
as good.
than the other. Yeah,
it's still really good. It's just not quite there.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I think it's because it takes itself a little too seriously.
Yeah,
and like Michael Zaki obviously doesn't take himself too seriously. We have the fucking lightning rams. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's stuff where he tries to have a sense of humor, like. I mean, hell, the giant pods, while horrifying, are also kind of funny.
Yeah, like on the surface, they're goofy as shit, but you know.
Yeah, which honestly works better for them because you're like, oh, they're kind of funny looking, and you also, you meet Pot Bro, who is essentially our Siegmeyer.
Yeah. Who would be our Solaire in this? I don't know. Like most of the characters of Elden Ring do not map easily onto the archetypes that they set
I
forward
think it
in
would.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne.
It would actually, despite being the level up waifu, Melina.
I don't think so because like she only shows up for one fight.
That's true, and if we're going based off fights, but my reasoning is she's specifically going on a quest with, going along with your quest to see out a kind of purpose for herself.
That's true. There is that.
So yeah, if you wanted to do the, but if you wanted to do, oh, she follows you and goes into fights, and you kind of follow her.
Millicent. I think it's
Millicent.
Millicent.
Millicent could work. I'm also thinking about. Let me see.
Or at the very least, Millicent is more similar to Henri, and Henri is like an evolution of Solaire as well. So like,
I would actually go with Nefelli then.
potentially, yeah. But the thing with Millicent is that she dies at the end of her quest line just like Solaire does.
Solaire doesn't.
And just like Henri.
Solaire doesn't have to die.
It's true. There is that one very difficult route where you save him, but
Yeah. Specifically, my reasoning for Nefelli is, everything we talked about, but also the fact that we see her breaking the faith. Like, we see her at her lowest, in this case, because she got disowned by her
that's true.
adoptive father.
Although the difference there between Nefelli and Solaire is that Solaire follows the entire same path you do, like through the entire game, more or less, and so does Millicent.
That is
The
fair.
only place she does not show up in is Farum Azula.
That is very fair. But
Otherwise,
like
she's
you
along
said,
the critical path the entire way.
Like you said, no one maps perfectly cleanly. I think that
Yeah.
honestly, our pot bro is the most you can really like go 1-to-1 with.
Except for Patches, of course, but that's because Patches is Patches.
Yeah, Patches is Patches. I'm not convinced he didn't just move over timelines.
Hi, buddy. Lay down.
Good on you for not being a spider anymore.
Now, here's the question. Would Dark Souls undead be considered those who live in death?
Yes.
I don't think so, because, like, they're not skeletons, right? They're just beef jerky people.
Yeah, but I think some of those who live in death can be beef jerky. Like, even, oh gosh, I always mess up whose name is who, not Godfrey, or no, Godfrey.
Godwin?
Or Godwin, yeah. Godwin's, like, face is kind of more beef jerky. He's not exactly a skeleton.
Yeah, but, like, he's also the source of it. That's, like, a whole thing in Japanese, like, culture is kagare. Yeah, which is, like, basically the stagnant water of rot, or rotting stagnant water, and how that spreads and taints things.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but like we in the West still have that concept. We just don't have like a singular word to describe it. We have an entire sentence, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's still in our like culture to not like stagnant water and rot and think that it transfers and taints things, right? It's unclean because it is.
Yeah. Like,
we just don't have a specific word for it like the Japanese do.
Yeah, we learned our fucking lessons. It's just, ew, icky.
Yeah, more or less. So, like, that's why Godwin, despite being undead, is, like, fish-like or octopus-like. It's because it's the association with water, specifically, that does this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, rot, water, all that sort of thing. definitely
It's
a thing.
also why you always find those who live in death either in catacombs where the dead are, or in stagnant pools of water, like in Summon Water Village.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, and of course,
And
the
like down
ferryman
underneath
imagery and all
Stormvale, for
that.
example, as well. Underneath Stormvale, where like that one face of Godwin is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's also like a stagnant water down there. Like
Um,
on a lot of things in Elden Ring, like I like kick myself for not getting it the first time I played.
mm,
But that one I don't because I didn't know about the association with like undeath in Japan with stagnant water. I had to have someone else tell me about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I get it.
okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
that I know about it.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
I was actually talking about this further along the media literacy thing. I was talking about this the other day with Nate. I think it's like the last two Elden Ring streams that we've done. I've been talking about it, but the worlds of FromSoft's thing that they do, or at least with the Souls-like style, not
yeah,
necessarily. I don't know if this is actually the case for Armored Core because I haven't actually looked up like Armored Core stuff very much because mostly because like the story is far more straightforward there.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it's not built quite the same way.
Yeah, no,
But
these
like the
are like
world design itself of like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, all of that, they are specifically built in a way that you can, if you are an archaeologist, know what you're doing, figure stuff out from the design of the world alone.
um yeah, I wouldn't say Armored Core is really that so much because it's just kind of, at least for the new Armored Core, is like a lot of open space, a lot of military
Yeah, like
establishment.
and your character is too big to really look at stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
obviously your pilot is not, but you don't get to run around as your pilot. You move around in your mech.
yeah, because also your pilot is uh, deeply, deeply fucked up as far as their body.
In AC6 at least, yes.
Yes, an AC6, obviously. So you're not doing any running around. You're lucky if you'll ever get to run around again.
Yeah, I think that Armored Core, like your vantage point is just simply too far back away from the details of something for that to work in Armored
Yeah,
Core in the first place. You might
yeah,
get some details, like going through a ruined city, you might be able to be like, hey, that's a crater from a fucking orbital destruction, like orbital
yeah,
bombardment.
yeah.
And
Like
you're like,
stuff
okay,
like
cool.
that for sure. And
But
like,
that's big enough for you to see, right?
yeah, and like some of the enemy design, kind of, but yeah, definitely not that. But Sekiro still uh, has that design philosophy.
I think the delineation here for Michael Zaki is whether or not you're actually fucking close enough to see any detail rather than like the
Yeah,
style of
yeah,
the story.
yeah. It's definitely like the level of detail because it's much more uh for for Armored Core. It is much more layers of history that this world has gone through because there's been so much war, so much war.
Yeah, because like you can't have a mech thing without a forever war.
Yeah, and just various different conflicts.
Yeah, like that's still the case even for Magimech, which we explicitly set out to like not have set during during a Forever War. It's just that the Forever War ended a little while ago, so like it's still there.
Yeah, and like you're dealing with all of the cascading conflicts that caused.
Yeah, like that's a big thing for mechs is like the reason why everything is Forever War all the time is because like the underlying themes of mechs in the first place because mechs just aren't realistic. You're not going to have actual mechs in real life
Yeah,
like
it's
ever
adding
because
a
they're kind of shit actually.
it's adding a human element to mechanized warfare.
Yeah, like the underlying themes is like war bad, war
Yeah,
bad.
like gun cool, war bad.
Yeah, like the tools are cool and interesting and fun to use and everything, but like actually using them is probably a bad thing.
Yeah,
Like in
absolutely.
basically every circumstance.
Yeah, any case where you have to use real ammunition and could kill somebody is a bad situation. And
So like the entire genre is based on like that one idea that war bad. And it's like all about like the military industrial complex and shit like that. Like
yeah, exactly.
perpetuating war specifically to make money for certain people.
Yeah. Um, like Witch from Mercury deals with not exactly the military industrial complex, though that is part of it, is more of the interactions between um, a dominant culture or dominant group interacting with a underclass. Like, it definitely does have the military industrial complex stuff too, but like a big deal is the fact
Yeah,
of
Gundam, as far as I know, has always been like really good about that, and Gundam is one of like the things that created the fucking genre in the
genre.
first
Yeah.
place. So like this is it's good to know the history. Like, don't get me wrong from like what we were talking about earlier about how we're not taught media literacy, we're taught
Yeah.
history. Like knowing the history is also important for it, so you can really like get
Yeah.
deep into it and understand it like on a really
Yeah.
fundamental level. But
Like,
like,
knowing where it came from, stuff like that, like, you might not know if you watched just in general, like, um, Cardcaptor Sakura or maybe Sailor Moon. You might not realize that the magical girl genre spun off from the fact that the Japanese really fucking loved Bewitched. That American TV show Bewitched.
yep, and like it's super feminist. Like the whole genre is super
Oh yeah,
feminist.
absolutely. Like, there's a reason that so many of these characters are really just lesbians without saying they're lesbians.
Although they only say they're not lesbians in the United States.
I mean, there's
Like
also
this
that.
turn those two girls in Sailor Moon into cousins, so it's not just lesbian, it's incest.
Granted,
Because that's better,
even,
America.
even in Sailor Moon, it's unstated. Like, they don't look at the camera and go, "We're in a relationship." But you know, you fucking know.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that subtext though, honestly. Like that's just text and like
Oh
that's subtle
yeah, but
text.
I mean, again, Brisket Guilty Gear has taught us that somebody can look straight into the camera, go, "I'm queer," and people will just stick their heads in the sand.
Yeah, which is it's completely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that whole situation was just mind-boggling to me. Where they just had evolving conspiracy theories of, oh, it's the bad ending. What they say, Guilty Gear doesn't have bad endings, and it's just expanding on each one. Oh, they're just, well. First, it started with them blaming translators, but after that, it was that, and then after
Yeah,
that,
they
it was
always blame the translators for some reason. There's no possible way that the Japanese could possibly have the concept of people turning into the other gender. Ranma, for
yes,
example.
yes, like
Or, just like all of fucking Japanese mythology.
yeah. Basically, what that boils down to, because I don't think it's necessarily infantilizing. I think it's more that right wing fucks fantasize about Japan actually being a right wing paradise. They,
There's no world in which Japan is a paradise.
I mean, yeah,
Right wing or left wing. Like, it's not a paradise.
it,
Place has some awful shit, just like the US does.
yeah, I mean, that for a start. But second off, they like to fetishize, because it's a lot of neckbeards. It is so many neckbeards. But they fetishize the idea of like, oh, I could live in Japan where they have a deep culture that they respect, and I can have a demure Japanese wife.
Sure.
And I'm like,
Just like you wouldn't like think, just like you wouldn't as an American think that like our media is representative of our culture. It's the same way for Japan. Like the media is idealized in some form or fashion, right? It's
yeah, I
like
mean,
it's got
first off,
some specific theme to it.
there's that. Second off, we don't see everything. We don't get to see
Yeah.
everything. There are a lot of
Oh, that's what I
works.
mean. Like a lot of that stuff is just like fucking hidden in the works. Even if we do see literally everything, like there's always going to be aspects of the culture that you
Yeah.
won't see in the work itself.
Well, what
Just
I'm
because like that's too much work.
yeah,
It's too much work for a writer.
yeah, but I also meant like
Believe me, I know.
we're not, the things that get famous in the States isn't the totality of Japanese media, even. So we're seeing
Yeah,
us. So we're seeing a sliver of a idealized Japan, even. You know, if only queer folk talk about "Love Me for Who I Am," which is a manga that is absolutely stellar and goes over specifically the situation of being a non-binary person in Japan. And it has an idealized ending, I will say that, but that's all I'll say as far as that portion of like kind of spoilers, only because some of that shit gets rough and maybe you'll just have to decide, oh, I'm only going to read this because I know it's not going to be a horror show for somebody like me.
yeah,
But it still goes over like a lot of things non-binary people have to deal with. Um, sp- you know, both in the just trans person not being understood by family or a society that kind of either sees them as fools or demonizes them, but also fellow queer people who are like, be more understandable.
no,
And
fuck
it,
you.
yeah, no, I'm a
I am an eldritch entity. Fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah, I'm a complicated individual. I am not either.
I contain multitudes, some of which contradict each other.
Yeah, there, so there's stuff like that. Um, and wanting to just be wanting a non-binary person to be reduced down to, oh, okay, so you're actually just the opposite gender of what your gender at birth was. When
And
no,
that is just like simply not the case. No.
no, I'm not going to reduce myself down to that because that's literally not who I am. The title is what it is. And also, it does some good things too, like good things happening in their lives. Uh, the experience of a cis boyfriend of a non binary person, you know, uh, kind of, trying to understand, but also realizing, oh, my education really did not prepare me for this.
Yeah, I fucking bet not.
And trying to be there, but also making mistakes because people are going to fucking make mistakes. Even if we knew everything about non-binary people and it was ubiquitous knowledge, people are going to make mistakes. Hell, I fucking misgender myself.
Yeah, I thought I do that shit too. Like my brain will just like pop off with some random shit. It's like, hey, that's not right. Stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Like your brain will just fire off, and so all you got to do, you know, is just very carefully correct yourself. You don't have to make a ordeal out of it. Just go, wait, sorry, not that pronoun, this pronoun. And, just acknowledge it so you're not, you know, ignoring a person's identity when they get ignored a lot of the time, but not making a theatrical thing out of it where now the non-binary person needs to feel like they need to make a show of forgiving you. Just go, oh, my mistake, this, not this, and move on with the conversation.
While I'm thinking about it, this may be like way off base because like it's not like I've done an actual study about this,
Right.
but I think the reason why stuff like Bridget is not trans, just a femboy or whatever the fuck, like even catches on with non-grifter chuds, uh,
Uh-huh.
is that people don't understand, and this goes for a lot of trans people too, at least earlier in their lives, don't understand that gender is not something that you just decide one day. Like you don't discover this when you're 6 for the most part. Like this is an ongoing process that takes
Yeah, it's
years or decades.
an ongoing process of understanding. So Bridget could very well be somebody who, in this case, it's the author's evolving ideas on gender and sexuality, but, for a person, it makes sense for Bridget because she goes from, oh, I've got to, in this fantastical situation, I have to hide my gender because of, fucked up ideas about twins of the same gender or whatever. But also found, oh, wait, I like wearing skirts and dresses, and has to kind of grapple with that, think, oh, I can prove myself manly and also prove that I'm successful by becoming a successful bounty hunter and show, oh, no, I can bring prosperity to my community. But then she realized, oh, no, I don't want to reject being a woman, despite the fact that, it, means that I'm not contradicting that weird tradition about twins. The idea of it not being a woman actually horrifies me.
Yep.
And sometimes that's the shit that happens is people will dress up in drag or dress up in like cross-dressing cosplay as a quote-unquote joke, but then they never want to go back.
Yeah, there's a very interesting example of that going around on Twitter lately.
Yeah, that fellow that individual on the right wing who
Who's
said,
dressing up to own the libs and all that shit. But
yeah,
you've never seen this motherfucker happier than than
yeah,
like when.
yeah,
Oh my god.
because what this fucker does is comes out, and really does get some harsh words from the right wing, because it's not like they created some false identity to come out under. And then months later goes, oh yeah, it was just a social experiment. Look at all these libs who fell for, me being, me just saying I'm trans. Look how silly they are. Meanwhile, this fucker's still wearing dresses, still wearing makeup, has a cute phone cover.
I don't actually know this is the same person that you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it is the same person, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Because it's the person who, did it to own the libs and said, oh, this is a social experiment. Look how stupid the libs are. And then just continues to be happy wearing dresses and goes, oh, yeah, I'm still owning the libs. But no, you look fucking overjoyed. has a
Like smile reaches the eyes and everything.
yeah, smile reaches the eyes.
Most people don't actually know what it looks like when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes because like they don't have to deal with that for the most part. Like
Well, I mean,
usually most people whenever they smile, like they actually are like happy about something or, find something funny or whatever. So most people don't understand what that is until you actually see it, but like when you do see it, you'll notice.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like, just look at Anthony Starr as Homelander. He does expressions amazing. Like, sometimes he does a smile that reaches his eyes, but usually when something fucked up is happening. But he does a lot of those vacant smiles.
For people who still have trouble with it after that, it's not like the eyeballs specifically, it's the creases around the eyes and the corners of your eyes, like
Yeah, it's
around the
specifically
edges.
yeah, it's specifically like, oh, you're doing the thing that mechanically you know you should do, but you're not doing all of the smaller things that you just do on automatic when you're actually smiling. Let's see. So, but yeah, like,
No,
yeah,
you little
people,
baby.
people will do it as a joke, whatever, and then realize, oh no, I actually enjoy this. In
Like
particular,
it
there,
always brings to mind that one fucking story from Tumblr about that woman. Maybe it was Tumblr, it might have been Twitter. I don't know.
uh,
About that woman offering like her friends an estrogen pill at the bar and then them physically recoiling in horror.
yeah, because they're all actually cis, and it's like, oh yeah, you might kind of, if you're cis, think about it once or twice, but that consistently, no, you're gonna go, no, I like my body the way it is.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cis people out there who would take the one as like a fucking joke because like one isn't gonna do anything to you. Even if
Yeah.
it had minor changes, there'd still be some cis people being like, "Yeah, I'll do it just to freak some people out," because people are trolls.
Oh yeah,
But you're not gonna
absolutely.
like the
Uh,
idea of taking it repeatedly is going to be like, "Nah, never mind. Nope, don't wanna."
yeah. Which reminds me of another story I saw on Tumblr. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's real enough. Specifically, it was an individual that she went. Uh, she's AMAB, and her college, like some of the students were doing a study on some effect of estrogen, uh, and got treatments for like a week or two. And it's like, nope, I'm never going back. I forget specifically what it was. I'd have to look into the story again, but basically, did a study doing estrogen just for, a week or two to get the blood samples on it, but went, no, I need to go see a doctor and continue to get these.
Kind of funny that like that will happen to trans people when it's not even long enough for them to actually see any effects yet.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like trans people will like when you go on estrogen, some people like actually lose brain fog. Like they had brain fog and then they don't after just a
Odds I
couple
hope that
weeks.
happens to me. I would like to be able to remember things again. Thank you.
Yeah, like there's stuff like that. There are a lot of like early emotional effects that can kick in. It doesn't change anything with like your fat distribution just yet, but there are things that they
Yeah,
can
but
go, oh yeah, my emotions and things
there.
like that are much more what they should be. All right, so to actually get onto some of the anime, we will start with actually. The I only went to an all guys mixer.
All right, here we go. Let's get up the pretty ladies up on screen. There we go.
Yeah. So I watched
Which
episodes 3 and 4.
oh, you watched episodes 3 and 4. Okay, I thought you only watched three, so I only reviewed three.
4 was the zoo.
Right. Okay. Yes. So, in the comments of the episode 3, when I skimmed through it to remind myself what happened, I saw someone saying that like Asagi fumbled Fuji when he put her to bed after the fucking manga bullshit, and I was just sitting there like, that's why you motherfuckers never get laid, because you try to take advantage of people like that. She hasn't slept in 3 fucking days. You don't do that to someone.
What the fuck? I know
Yeah.
that there's people who think like this, but God.
Like, what is wrong with you, dude? Like that. You try anything there. That woman is never gonna speak to you ever again.
Yeah, no. But they think, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this because I'm the big, tough, masculine individual. No.
Asagi did not fucking like fumble anything there. He did exactly what he is supposed to, because he's a giant fucking golden retriever boy.
Yeah, no.
He's a big dumb idiot baby, and I love him.
Yeah, not to mention, he was fucking tired too, so he went to sleep. That was a good moment. Like, there are some people who think of sex as the end goal of a date or even a whole relationship. And no, absolutely not. Yeah, you can go on like Tinder or something and go, yeah, this is what I'm looking for, and there'll be other people who are looking for that. But if you're talking about a date, just a regular date or a relationship, you didn't fail because she didn't touch your pee-pee.
That's a really good phrase. Genuinely amusing. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I'm glad I can bring some joy into that, but yeah, like, no, all of these dates actually go very well.
Although Hagi does need a lot of help, because he just jumps to conclusions way too quickly, like a jackass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, Huggy jumps to conclusions, though he's at least realizing, nah, I might just be bisexual, bro.
Honestly, I think he might be Kohaku sexual rather than bi or straight or anything.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but at least he has the capacity to find somebody appealing who he reads as masculine.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the so going briefly over the summary, there are 2 storylines in this. There's Hagi, and you just said it, but it leaves my mind.
Kohaku.
Kohaku. Because they meet up to go to an izakaya because she still needs to get him his sweater back.
And then there's actually there's 3 there, I believe, in episode 3 at least.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
there's all 3.
Yeah, there is actually all 3. Now that you mention it, it's just that one was far shorter, so I didn't.
Yeah,
even think
like
about
Hagi's mistake in this instance is not like entirely his fault. It's also on Asagi and Tokiwa.
Yeah, it's on
because
it's on.
They're
them
the ones
for
that like gave him like a bad impression, like a bad idea what was going on, because they are apparently too stupid to realize that like when you go to a cafe like this of any kind, whether it's drag king, drag queen, maid, neko, whatever the fuck, the waiters, the staff are not actually being their actual selves.
Yeah,
they're playing a character.
Yeah, they're playing a character, and that was what
it's
Kohaku
a
was doing.
themed restaurant. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So yeah, they meet up at a place, and we see what we talked about previously with Japan having a specific view of sweets and
Yeah.
men
Which
who.
I still think that's so fucking
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah,
Like,
it really is, but a lot of gender
give me the
shit like that
fucking like ice
is.
cream. Give me the ice cream. I want it.
Yeah,
I fucking love pastries and shit.
yeah. It's just one of those things. It's weird to us because we don't think of it that way. Because I will see a big ass burly motherfucker just down an ice cream sundae.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I God, I am too much of a fucking troll. I'm too much of a gremlin because like I've had this urge for a very long time now to just like go to Japan and just be like loudly me to fuck with people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, granted, some of that is going away in Japan, thankfully, but
Finally, fuck.
yeah.
But like one of the things was just like yeah, like tattoos and piercings and shit. It's all delinquents, which is also kind of the same in the U.S. a little bit. But
Yeah, which yeah, if you're going to like rural places, you're gonna get that. But if you're in Tokyo, the average person isn't gonna think you're yakuza or anything. The only thing they have is the bans when it comes to onsen. But like the
yeah,
average,
like
but like the average person, like the average Japanese person you meet on the street, nah, they're not gonna think you're yakuza or anything. They're just gonna go, "Oh yeah, you've got these neat ass tattoos, cool."
yeah, I remember like talking about this with someone else before. And they were just like, "Oh, that's such an American attitude." And I was like, "No, it's not. I'm just a gremlin.
Oh yeah, no, like that is
That's not an
not.
American
Yeah,
thing."
that's not an American thing. Now, granted, America does fetishize individuality. Like to
Yes, but most people are not actually all that individualistic. People think they are, but they're not. They're
they.
just as conformist as everyone else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like
It's
specifically,
almost like that's baked into our neurology or something.
yeah, but specifically the myth of the frontiersman who does everything on his own.
Yeah, that I definitely agree that that's there, but like people still like conform to the culture,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Of
yeah, yeah.
of
No,
the
no, no, no,
area.
no. Like
People saying that like that what I want to do there is distinct, like so American and everything, just like really don't understand what humans are.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
The
there.
only reason I'm like this is because I'm neurodivergent, all right? I don't feel a need to conform because I'm missing that part of my brain. It's being subsumed by like other shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what else? So yeah, we have a little bit of that whole thing. Hagi has a bit of a bisexual freak out. It's cute. There's not like much there other than him going, "Nah, don't worry about eating ice cream.
Yeah, good food is justice and
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah, delicious food is justice." And yeah, Huggy went up a point in my estimations from that.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the other big one was Fuji and Asagi in that episode, where Fuji went, "Nope, don't like my manga story. I'm gonna throw the whole thing out, do it over again."
2 days
But
before the deadline, which is
yeah,
not a great idea.
yeah, 2 days before the fucking deadline. So she reaches out to Asagi and goes, "Hey, I need you to help me with inking." Which, a bit of an ask for somebody who you don't know what their art background is.
Yeah, but it's anime. It's fine. It's
Eh,
not a real thing.
Yeah, it's not a real thing, but a hell of a fucking ask. But anyway, so they do that. Uh, Fuji realizes, because of a phone call, oh shit, I've got to hide all the X rated shit from him.
Which her reaction to that was fantastic.
Just
She
like,
just goes, "Oh,"
oh.
and like everyone else is like, "Oh fuck," she said, "Oh."
So,
Fucking Sue was just like, "Yeah, bet."
yeah, and
That's not good. That's not good at
yeah,
all.
yeah, and Asagi basically interprets the manga about it being about somebody helping their sick friend.
Yeah, because like it's missing the critical scenes.
Yeah, it's it's somebody forcefully pushing somebody into a bed, and the one being pushed into bed having a very flushed face. So he goes, "Oh yeah, sick friend," which is a very Asagi thing to do.
Yeah, because he's a fucking cinnamon roll.
Yep. Uh, and then other than that, the
It's Suo and Tokiwa.
yeah, Suo and Tokiwa, they just basically go to a fucking izakaya. They
Yeah, which it's kind of funny because she calls him a lightweight after a bit, like after he gets drunk, and it's just like, bitch, he drank 10 pints of beer. You know
yeah,
how much that is? That's 5.5 liters.
yeah, no, this motherfucker went through so much beer. I was like, that's a lot. And ends
That's
up,
not a lightweight. That dude, like, that guy could fucking join a goddamn competition with that much beer. Holy fuck.
yeah, and there's a couple girls from their college. Oh, they meet. That's right. To- Tokiwa needed some help with homework, and Suo's condition was come to an izakaya with me.
Because
So
apparently he forgot to do it or whatever.
yeah, and needed help to like rush it, basically. And then yeah, so there's a couple girls from their college who were at the izakaya who had seen them together before previously, but now they're like, oh, they fucking.
Or at
Because
least one of them is trying.
yeah, or at least one, but they're like, oh, yeah, these two are close. Like, real close. Because they're, Suo usually tries to be kind of, not distant exactly, but kind of controlled in exactly how he react, how she reacts, at least in her masculine portrayal.
Yeah, which of course you would be, right?
Yeah. So
That's a job.
tries to do that. But they're laughing together. They're having beers. Gets a
It's
lap
kind of fun
pillow.
though. Like
Suit.
having seen enough of this fucking show, the girls don't read to me as masculine anymore. Like not even in their masculine like clothing and outfits and everything. They very much read like women to me.
I could see that, but to some degree, I do see them at least partially as non-binary, especially Suo.
That's true. I just mean like their masculine things do not look very masculine to me anymore. Like I've gotten used to them like referring
Switching.
to themselves as
Yeah.
women and all that,
Oh
like
yeah.
every circumstance. So it's like brain has switched over from reading them as like slightly masculine, non-binary to the other way, to
Got you.
reversing that.
Got you. Um. But yeah. Even kisses his forehead.
The girls, of course, freak out about this,
Yeah.
looking around the corner, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. And then
I'm mostly wondering if there's going to be any rumors about that. Like, are they going to drunkenly spread that?
I hope not.
I hope
Or
not too, but it would be kind of funny to like see Tokiwa squirm about it.
yeah, a little bit. So next episode, they're going on a road trip, but they make a little pit stop at a rest stop that also has a zoo. Uh, and
I
specifically,
recall like Fuji is good with bugs, but like
Asagi,
Asagi isn't.
yeah, Asagi really isn't. Uh, Suo really wanted to see the panda, but then they ran into a girl that got lost and separated from her mom or somebody, or whoever she was with. So of course they went to the
You know, the
Lost Child
classic rom
Center.
com thing.
Yeah, the classic rom com thing. And Takiwa went ahead and at least got her a souvenir to try and cheer her up for not seeing the panda.
Oh yeah, and he dressed up in the panda outfit. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Which very cute, very cute. Like great way. And even the little girl is like, "Are you two dating?"
Sue internally is just like, I want to.
Yeah, I
I
want
need
to.
to.
I will peg this boy. You know Suo would.
I don't know. That seems more like a Fuji thing.
Maybe. Well, no, both of them really, but for two
Yeah, I was gonna
very
say like
different reasons.
it's not like they couldn't they couldn't both be like that.
Yeah, for two
There's no
very
reason they couldn't.
yeah, for two very different reasons. Fuji's just generally interested and, art, but also Suo's having fun with cracking some bisexual eggs here.
It's true. She is.
And then the other two, Huggy and Kohaku, they check out just, for me, rather kind of weird section of a zoo, just interacting with guinea pigs.
To be fair, they are cute, so
Oh yeah,
I understand.
absolutely, they're cute. Like, but for me, guinea pigs, I just think of those as like just pets you have.
That's fair. I usually think of the how guinea pigs were raised as food for that one culture that I don't remember the name of right now.
Yeah, there's also that, but like I more expect to see like like rabbits in those interactive areas, or like maybe you know like small horses, like ponies and things. But still, very good episodes. All right. So, Rama next or Demon Lord next?
Fucking, it doesn't matter to me. I watched them both in the last 12 hours.
Fair enough. I was giving you a choice, you nerd.
All right, hold on a second. I got a coin here. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Rama.
We're all right. Talking about Rama. All right. So it is time for the competition.
Kodachi is such a fucking god.
Yeah, like I kind of forgot. Yeah, Kodachi really is actually weirder than Tatawaki. Or at
That's
least
difficult to do.
or at least like
That's a fucking achievement.
a lot louder than Tatawaki.
Yeah, she's much more like ostentatious about it, right?
Yeah. Because
Like flamboyantly weird.
he doesn't seek Rama out outside of school. In the in the same not in the same way that Kodachi does.
Yeah, Kodachi is like so goddamn weird. Like she sets up 4 traps within the first like 5 minutes.
Yep, like handshake, and of course she's got fucking tacks in her hands.
And sedative and the roses as a gift. The fucking pan over the door. Then like she fucking chains Ranma up with with like Ryoga in his pig form on the other end.
Yep. Which I do love that the all-girl school pulled the same fucking joke, but with Ryoga instead of Ranma of, hey, you poured water there. What if somebody was under there? It was just a pig.
Yeah. I think the most ridiculous part about the entire episode to me is like there's a lot of ridiculousness when Kodachi gets involved, apparently. But the most I think is when she wraps her brother up and yeets him full force at,
The
at
table that's
Ranma,
also coming at her.
and he doesn't even fucking flinch about it. Like he just stays in his fucking like cross-leg position until it's time for him to like strike, and then he just immediately goes.
Yeah, and
So you know this fucking weirdo has done this before.
yeah, 100% has absolutely been involved in this, and it's just like, okay, this is my life now. I'm gonna go ahead and break the table. And of course, he has his fucking like kendo
Okay,
sword. Because he just has that with him at most times. You know.
I know I said this last time, but like the more I watch, the more it becomes very clear to me what everyone meant when like the entire cat when they told me the entire cast of Ranma was just like terrible people in being terrible but in funny ways.
Yeah, because it's different than the Always Sunny version of that. Which isn't to speak negatively of Always Sunny. Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah, like I couldn't fucking stand it. Like I can't stand their voices. But that's a me thing because I have like a weird thing about voices.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair.
It's also why I don't like a lot of like video essayists and YouTubers and streamers in general. Like that, I'm sure they're good at their jobs, but like I can't stand their fucking voices.
Yeah.
It's nothing against them. I just my
Yeah,
brain's
it's
bad with
like
it.
yeah, it's like a specific sensory thing. Like I have certain sensory sensitivities too, so there's some people I just cannot watch. Um but yeah, so uh the competition takes place in a fucking boxing ring.
Yeah, well, like Kodachi fucking moves the ring using like the rest of her fucking club too.
Yep.
Like they
She
just pick the ring up and move it from underneath.
Yep, because she blows a
Fucking
whistle and they just move towards the whistle. Didn't last long because Rama saw right through it, but it worked long enough.
Hi, Ember. What are you doing, boy? Why are you like this, buddy? Why are you trying to like get in my way right now, huh, buddy?
Um, Ron,
My handsome son.
Rama's like, yeah, I've got no fucking interest in you.
Join the Discord for pictures of my cats.
Yes, they are very good boys.
Hello, handsome. And yes, Phoenix is fat. Ember is not. He's just the entire litter was very big because their mother is enormous. All right. Ember's not fat. He's just really big. Apparently, I thought he was average size, but nope. I was talking to a colleague the other day about like how much he weighs, and he's like 12 or 15 pounds. And apparently, that's like 50% larger than the average house cat. And I'm like, fuck. Have I
Yeah,
just had really big cats my entire life? Apparently.
apparently so. So they have that competition. Uh, Granted, I think the most ridiculous bit of slapstick is when uh Rama and Ryoga get turned back into their
Oh yeah.
masculine and human forms, and then before anybody sees, Akane and Genma have procured a hose, and Rama is swimming through the stream. Like,
Which is fucking stupid, but amazing.
yeah, like the water pressure in this school is something of titanic proportions.
Fucking like the tools that Kodachi uses as well, like they're all like highly dangerous.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like these
Like our
fuckers.
hula hoop is a fucking razor. Like it's a razor chakram, but like upsized, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah, like absolutely. This girl plays for keeps, and generally in
Apparently,
Rama,
she's out here trying to fucking kill people.
there is a lot of playing for keeps on things that should really be low stakes, but these are intensely violent people.
Tremendously awful.
Absolutely. And it all ends, and Rama's like, all right, are you gonna fucking leave me, but not me, alone? And
And she just goes, "No."
nah, nah. Sorry, Rama. You are dealing with her for as long as this anime runs.
I think if I were in Ranma's position, I might actually just kill her. Just like fucking dump her in the canal.
Yeah, I can't really blame you, because, like, yeah, there's gonna be annoying characters going forward, but well, no, I can't say that because there's at least someone as bad as Kodachi. But the other one isn't as bad as either of them. Because, she's not doing shit like, poisoning Ranma to try and get a kiss out of him.
Like normally when a character is annoying and I say I would kill them, I'm normally joking at least a little bit, but
With her,
with
like, no.
Kadachi, if I were Ranma, I would actually just kill her because like she's so disruptive and dangerous.
Yeah, like, she's genuinely, like, if you're taking this outside of slapstick anime, this lady's fucking dangerous. And
Like very dangerous.
and just a very deeply violent person who does not take no for an answer. She will twist
Like
for
there's
she will
the
twist
paralytics,
reality.
poisons, razor hula hoops. Like one of her batons is a fucking spike mace.
Granted, I will say Rama is a fucking coward because last episode Rama goes and doesn't just, reject her outright like he should have from the very start. He goes, "Oh no, I'm actually engaged, so I can't date you," and tries to make Akane take the L.
Yeah, there is that.
And, like,
Because like
that doesn't
if
justify
Kodachi approached me like that, I just say no, fuck off.
yeah,
But
like, that doesn't justify everything that happens to Ranma, but it's certainly, like, you didn't help your own situation.
yeah, like no one should have to deal with that in the first place. But like he didn't exactly do anything to stop it, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, like,
What he
genuinely,
should have just been like, no, go away, stop, instead of trying to make someone else like handle it for him.
yeah. But apparently, he's just not well, and it makes sense, but he's not great at social situations because that's what happens when you only go to school and then you get dragged to training out in the wilderness for the rest of the time.
Yeah,
You're not going to have great social skills. And when your dad is as awful as Genma is, of course your fucking language of interacting with people is being a snide dickhead.
which we haven't actually gotten to see much about Genma yet because he's usually in his panda form.
Yeah, he's usually in his panda form because that's where he's his funniest. But
Like that bit where he's just like, I forgot pandas can't talk.
yeah, exactly. But he does shit like steal Ramen's food.
Fucking like,
Oh,
someone steal my food, I'm gonna stab them in the goddamn hand.
Ranma being so sleep deprived after staying up training that he's like, hey, this fish cake is really chewy. And Kasumi's like, yeah, that's because it's a towel, sweetie.
Gods. Baby. He's a baby.
Really, really is. Ah.
Desperately needs someone to take care of him because he's just like incapable of it on his own, apparently.
At the very least, he wasn't really taught, social skills or restraint. Which means he's.
Although he has been holding back for a lot of the fights, right? Like, explicitly, he's been holding back for some of them.
Oh, yeah, like, he knows theoretically how to hold back, but I mean restraint as far as, hey, maybe don't train until you're physically fucking exhausted. Right.
Although,
before
granted, in that
competition.
instance, like that was partially because it was Ryoga training him, and he wanted to hurt Ryoga.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's that. Plus, Ryoga was actually trying to sabotage him anyway, so he could get with Akane.
That's not how that works, Ryoga. She has to actually choose that, you fucking nerd.
Yep.
You don't get to just beat someone else up and then, like, go take the girl. That's not how that works.
Not in the slightest.
Which I hope he learns that by the end of the show.
He does at least try to one-up Ranma in different categories, rather than just beating the living shit out of him.
I don't know if that's any better.
Well, I mean, in other categories, I mean, like, actually getting Akane's attention.
Tell you one thing, I have been enjoying like all of the art of Ranma just deciding to be a woman and dating Akane anyway.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
been pretty nice.
Yeah, like, Ranma fandom's giving us things. I still like the classic meme of, I'm whatever gender fits the bit. A man's got to do what a man's got to do, but God forbid a woman want to do it.
Yeah. I support women's rights, but also women's wrongs.
Yes, absolutely.
Shut up, idiot. No!
So, Demon Lord 2099.
There we go. So the thing that I said was going to happen with the hero actually did happen. Mm-hmm. His sword is no longer rusty because he used it.
Yep. And specifically,
he used it for something heroic, so like.
Yeah, and specifically it reacted, and he did note this is the first time in years it's reacted and only worked for the one attack. Because
it kind of says that he's on the right path, apparently, according to the goddess, at least.
Yeah, which, fair enough. Yeah, like finding a purpose and protecting others rather than getting involved in a war.
Yeah, well, doing hero shit.
Yeah, like actually getting to do hero shit.
Which it says something about like how bad a cyberpunk reality is, where the goddess is like, yeah, go help the demon lord.
Yeah, no, go help him. But I mean, he's kind of learned and gotten to view mortals as potential subjects.
Which he had before, which is interesting to me as well, because like in the episode where he states his motivation, like it's always been to keep the immortals and mortals from killing each other.
Yeah, it's to stop the violence. It's just,
he was doing it in a fucked up way.
Yeah, he was doing it in a fucked up way.
Which I want to know what exactly Veltol is, because we still haven't gotten any clarification on what the fuck Marcus meant in the first goddamn episode when he called Veltol a higher order being.
Yeah.
Does that mean like Veltol is actually a literal god? Or some other like divine spirit?
I'm kind of wondering. I think it might be that he's like a primal in some ways from Final Fantasy XIV.
It fucking could be. I don't know.
You know, in that his memories exist in some sort of live stream type situation, and he can be called back provided the correct preparations are made.
And of course, he grows stronger with belief.
Yeah. And also, the hero hinted that Veltol has a fucking trump card up his sleeve.
Yeah, and I'm eager to see that when the new episode comes out in like 5 days.
Yeah, so broad strokes, hero fights.
Secretary, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me.
They don't say her name enough.
Yeah, they said it like twice, and that's it. And that was weeks ago.
But yeah, so they fight her. Or, well, specifically, he fights her and lets Veltol get past. There's a lot of smack talk
Hinohara.
coming.
There we go.
Unohara?
Hinohara.
Oh, Hinohara.
No, K with a K.
Oh,
Hinohara.
Ah, Kinohara. Gotcha. King O'Hara, okay. Anyway, so Kinohara goes, "Oh, you're so old. Your time's done." Not really thinking about the fact her boss is just as old, if not older.
Much older, in fact, because he's been an immortal for a while.
Yeah, but I don't know if he became. I don't know exactly how far that age gap is.
It's true. Yeah, it's always weird to me that like people say that about like older people in media, and it's just like, but the fact that they're old means they have so much more experience than you.
Yeah, but
like that's how the hero wins in the first place as well.
Yeah,
he has 500 years of experience,
and
being the hero.
Learned how to deal with those, and he might actually be the only one who has a familia that can't be shut off, if only because it might be old enough that it doesn't have the back door built in.
I would think that it does, just because like the familia was always built and designed by Marcus.
That's true.
And he would not have done that. I don't think he might have like forgotten to, or just not thought about it yet, maybe, but it just doesn't seem in his personality to have not done that at some point.
Right? That's fair enough, considering the familia was always his goal of getting rid of Veltol's actual advantage, but also being the controller of something that everybody is getting used to using.
Yeah.
But
speaking of Marcus, it's interesting that the Dark Peers do not know about Veltol's trump card.
Yeah, because the hero goes, "Oh yeah, if anybody knew and wanted to face Veltol, they would absolutely just go into despair."
Apparently, it's that fucking powerful, which is interesting. I want to know what it does. I want to know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hero wins the fight by doing a lot of diversions.
Get your claws away from me, bitch.
Basically, and setting off 5 simultaneous fireball spells.
Was it 5? I thought it was a triple cast.
It might have been a triple cast. Oh, I'm thinking of 5 because I think there were 5 things on the sword, but that was a different thing.
Oh yeah, the sword had 5.
Yeah, that's it. The sword
and then a 6th later when it was activating a different thing, but not at the same time.
Okay. So they did that, and
point blank triple cast fireball. Gotta fucking love it.
Absolutely. And so Kinohana loses, but does not get killed because it's the hero. I am wondering if either
although like the cut that he delivered should have fucking killed her. Like you saw that goddamn thing. that goes like half a foot into from her shoulder into her chest. That should have cut her heart in half.
Yeah, seriously.
Like she should like be like her arm should barely be holding on by a fucking thread by that
Yeah,
cut.
to be honest, I would have preferred if we did the one-armed swordswoman thing with her after that, but that aside.
It's also a cyberpunk thing though, so like even if she did lose her arm here, she'd just get a new one.
I mean, yeah, she would, but
And it would be a really good one too.
oh yeah, absolutely. So theorizing, she might either become Beltol's merchandiser, or there might be a merchandising around the hero.
I think it would be really fucking funny. I know we talked about this last week too. It would be really fucking funny if the hero also started streaming.
Yes, absolutely, because I feel like he should at least do some co-streams with Beltol.
Yeah, at
Even
least show his face every now and then.
yeah, which kind of makes sense because they're probably going to take over one of Marcus's buildings at some point.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I want to know who the villain, like the antagonist, is going to be after this because it's the way it's going. It's seeming like Marcus is going to get his shit pushed in
Yeah, like it
by the
seems.
end of the season.
Yeah, it
It might
seems.
not be immediately in the next episode, but it's gonna like at some point happen soon.
Yeah, like it feels like there would be a lot more in between if Marcus was the final villain. But nah, like it seems like he's gonna get his shit pushed in.
Is Demon Lord 2099 still being published as a light novel?
Do not
So
know.
that's a good question. Demon Lord
But yeah, so
2099 light novel.
uh, I have a feeling she's going to become a merchandiser for one of them because that's the gimmick of hers. I do like is her being deep into the merchandising and going, "Oh yes, this is peak design." What I
Yes,
didn't
it's still being published. It's got 5 volumes currently.
interesting. So yeah, definitely somebody other than Marcus is involved at some point. Has to be.
Yeah, because you can't just have like this like them chasing the same dude the entire time.
No,
You gotta
absolutely.
have like at least other minor antagonists as well.
Um, what I didn't like and existed in other parts, like in other episodes, but was really obvious here, is the fucking English.
Yeah, Kinohara's English is it's murderous.
It's murderous specifically because she used it so often.
Yeah, like the occasional word is fine. I don't give a shit. But like when half of your fucking speech is in English, it's oh god, it's painful.
Yeah, like that's not how bilingual people speak, and I don't know anybody who uses that much English for punctuation in Japan.
I think it would have been better if she pulled a Toby Fox and pronounced the English bits properly, like it with a real English accent.
That would be
Like
great.
I think that would have made it really good. And maybe that's what like she was supposed to do in the novel as well. And like they just couldn't find an actor who could do that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's reasons that could happen.
Because it's really fucking hard to do that, by the way. What Toby Fox did there, like, is incredibly difficult. To without pausing, like smoothly go from speaking one language with barely an accent to another language with no accent at all for just like one single word and then back to the other language. That is so fucking hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even if you are bilingual, you get into the patterns of speech of what you're doing. Like, this is actually uh, something that Hako Bales of Hololive fell into. Because she's just Australian. But she's gotten so used to speaking Japanese, because she lives in Japan, that sometimes she does a little bit of the English, even though English is her native language.
Yeah, like there's a reason why I don't like put a Mexican accent on for like when I say taco or burrito or like any of the food stuff or even porque no los dos. Like I don't put on the accent because like I'm usually speaking English.
Yeah, because
And it's really hard to actually like put the proper accent on it
yeah, it's
without
absolutely
pausing.
yeah, it's absolutely not that easy.
Which I remember like this I first like put this into words when I was speaking to a Mexican American girl 10 years ago, some shit like that. Um and she corrected my pronunciation of taco. I was just like, yeah, but I'm speaking English right now, woman. Like I know how to say it in Spanish. It's just like I'm speaking English right now. I can't swap back and forth between the accents that easily.
Yeah, no.
It's
And
very difficult.
honestly, most native speakers who then go on to speak English would call you fucking pretentious for trying. Or for putting the emphasis on that specific word.
Which like taco is a weird one to have the accent on anyway because it's only two syllables, so it's almost indistinguishable for someone who's not used to it anyhow. So it's
Yeah.
whatever. But like I don't roll the R's in burrito or anything like that either because like why why would I even practice that first off? I
Yeah.
don't actually speak Spanish. I only speak a little bit, right? Like I'm not fluent in Spanish. I just know a lot of the words. I don't know how to construct sentences or anything like that.
Yeah.
I could probably hold a conversation with someone speaking Spanish, but only if they spoke slowly.
Yeah. And it's just yeah, that's one of the things I think is silly is people insisting that you say loan words exactly how they sound in the native language.
Yeah, which actually that is something that weirds me out about Japanese loanwords, or not Japanese loanwords, but English loanwords in Japanese, is they'll base the pronunciation in Japanese based on how it's spelled in English into like Romaji. Like they'll say Satan as Satan, which is not how you pronounce it. It's Satan for a reason because it comes from the I can't remember what language it is. I think it's early Hebrew, shaitan.
Yeah.
It's Shaitan. That's how that original version is spelled, and that's how we mostly pronounce it now. We just drop the H from it, right? It's Satan. But like, why? Because they do this with names too, which is the weird thing.
Yeah. I think it's
Because like in my legal name, you do not pronounce the last letter of the name because it not in English at least. In the original language it comes from, yes, you do pronounce that letter, but not in English. But like whenever you translate my name into like write it in Japanese, you do actually like put a syllable there in Japanese, which is not how you pronounce it.
yeah, that is a little bit weird. I think that comes in part from and it probably started with the Dutch because the Dutch were the first to trade with, well, Portuguese and Dutch were the first two to trade with Japan, but specifically not going off of how it sounds, but how it's spelled because they were translating books.
Could be, yeah.
So it's, they can't just, sit a Dutch or Portuguese person down and go, read all of these words. Read them to me so I know how they sound in your native tongue.
Yeah, it's just weird that it still happens today, right? Like
Yeah, and I
we
think,
even have like automated fucking like computers that will read language out for you, screen readers and shit like that. You can just like get the actual like roughly correct pronunciation of things now.
yeah, but systems of doing things are slow to change. And the translations between English and Japanese have always been kind of kludgy.
Yeah,
Like,
you're not wrong.
Ramanji isn't exactly, great at everything either.
It's interesting. I'm sure there's an actual like Japanese reason for it as well, but it's interesting that Roman lettering gets turned into Romaji. I'd do a search for it, but I don't know if there's going to be like any information on that because it'll be all be in Japanese, and I'm fucking illiterate. Let's see.
Yeah, let me see. Well, it's first off, it's going off of uh, you know, a mix of Roman and
Ah,
G,
okay.
and also kanji is literally just kan, Chinese, G, character.
Yeah, that's I'm reading that now. Apparently, believe it or not, this information was available 14 years ago. They're called Romaji because they're the letters used in Rome, which is Roma in Japanese, because you don't have an im stop in Japanese. You only have that on in, the letter in, or like a brain. Cough up the word brain. It's not consonant. It's the other one.
Oh, Val.
Val, thank you. I knew it started with a V, but my brain was just like saying vessel. Like, no, that's not right. It's not a vessel. Vessels aren't letters. But yeah, you only have like hard stops like that on in the letter or vowels. So when you have something like Rome, it turns into Roma or Rome, depending.
Yeah.
It depends on like what you're translating, which one you'll get, and then of course chi is the word for character, like in kanji. So it's Romaji,
Yeah.
which eventually gets like squished down into Romaji.
Yep, exactly.
That's interesting. I have learned something today.
Do you know what the Japanese version of LOL basically is?
Yeah, it's W
Yes. Do you
because it
know?
looks like the grass thing. And I don't know. I don't remember the full etymology of it, but like,
Yeah.
I did at one point learn it. I just don't remember it right now.
Yeah, it is very fun. I don't remember the entirety of it, but I did remember that where they would say like fences or something instead of the word, and then it just slowly morphed into a bunch of W's.
Yeah. So if you see a bunch of W's in the comment section under a Japanese thing, that's not them saying win. It's them saying I'm laughing my ass off at this.
Yup. So yeah, Marcus, if he doesn't die, he's getting his shit pushed in and either dying to the next villain or cowering and trying to get help from the next villain.
You might just fucking die,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, like these are specifically if he doesn't die. He might just fucking die.
I I could see it going either way with Veltol, either sparing him or killing him. Personally, I'd kill his ass, but that's because I'm a different kind of demon lord.
Yeah, no, I think Veltol's just gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, like I'm leaning that way, but there's also the whole like he's trying to make peace with stuff, and he's like somewhat modernized now.
Yeah, but
So maybe not.
Marcus has crossed too many lines.
It's true because he was even mocking the two lesbian fucking dark peers.
Yes, because Specifically, it was the two immortals that Machina mentioned in a prior episode she had contact with. These weren't Dark Peers, I think. I think these were just a pair of immortals that were helping Machina. And they were
I don't
giving,
remember the names of all the Dark Peers, even though they've been said a few times. So I don't know.
yeah, so they were giving her information, and she's like, oh, I hope they're okay, because I haven't heard from them in a while. And then we find out in this episode, oh yeah, because that's Marcus threw them in a fucking furnace together. And he says, oh, their friendship, no, their love was beautiful. Which, you know, it's him being a disgusting asshole, but also, I can kind of possibly trust this anime to have lesbian side characters later that don't kick the bucket.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. It's not fridging, but it is kind of like I'm torn on whether it's actually bury your gaze or not
It
because they
is.
died off screen and before we were introduced to them.
It is bury your gaze. Yeah,
Like if it's not, it's definitely still like a related trope.
yeah, it's definitely a related trope where the only gay characters are dead or dying characters. Or the villain. I would have liked a little bit more interaction with Marcus and, Hana. Just in general in the anime, but they might have not had time. Because I don't even know if they're confirmed for a second season, so this season might be what they have to convince publishers to give them a second.
Okay, bury your gaze is not what I thought it was. I thought it was like specifically like them being introduced and then killed off later. What it actually is it's barely even a trope. It's more like a funny name for the idea that queers are more likely to be killed or tortured
Yeah,
than straight characters.
they're more likely to be killed. Um, this happened in American media because of certain media
The
stand.
Hays Code.
Yeah, the Hays Code, where
All my homies hate the Hays Code.
yeah, because you could only have a queer person who got punished for their sexuality. So that either they ended up being the villain or they ended up dying. Well, they ended up getting killed either way or otherwise punished, but they either get punished because they're the villain or they get punished anyway, even if they're an ally to the protagonist.
Yeah, of course, like the Hays Code is not still active, but it still like affects the attitudes.
Yeah,
today.
it is called institutional memory.
Yay!
Because institutions get used to patterns of behavior. And if you don't explicitly try to break those patterns of behavior, it will continue. It is not entirely unlike a cargo cult.
Yeah, for more examples of this, see the Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, see Jim Crow laws, see redlining.
Phoenix, fuck off. Creature.
Because there were actually segregated neighborhoods by more than just economic status.
Yeah.
And those neighborhoods still exist because we've done nothing to raise the economic status of people who were, kind of pushed into, low income neighborhoods when really they should have benefited from, like, for example, JFK's housing reforms. But they were they were explicitly left out of it. Which is a whole other conversation and not one that uh, not one that I'm necessarily comfortable being the mouthpiece of, in that I'd rather say go look up Black creators and listen to what they've got to say on those things.
Yeah. For like a small primer, just to give you like language to think about there and to Google with. Like, for example, today's reparations, like the idea of reparations today, is not because anyone still alive was a slave. It's more because their ancestors were slaves, they could not build up generational wealth, and
Yes.
therefore start at a lower point.
And keep in mind, there are people alive today who either their parents couldn't vote or their grandparents couldn't vote. And that still affects them today. Like, we are one
for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah, like we are one generation removed from that. That is not a long time ago. We act like it's a long time ago, but we've got so much more to do. As demonstrated,
1964. That's how, like, my father was a small child in 1964.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a toddler, so like literally doesn't remember it, but still.
Yeah, and they were cut off from a lot of opportunities because they couldn't vote.
Yeah, he was like fucking 1 or 2 at the time. So like, we're barely one generation removed. At least I'm barely one generation removed.
Yeah, we're barely one generation removed from all that. So,
but like, my dad also like had me when he was in his late 30s, and I'm almost 30 now. So
yeah, but people are.
My situation is not exactly the same as everyone else's.
White politicians are quick to want to forget that and act like, oh, we are post-racism. No, we're not. We've got so much more work to do on that. And
in a couple generations, maybe we'll be fucking post-racism, but not right now.
No,
not at all.
No, not right now. We're beginning to understand what we need to do.
It's the same for like any other like kind of bigotry you can think of. Like, it's only been a couple of decades since this stuff was like written to law. People don't change their minds that quickly. You gotta wait for some old bastards to die off.
Yeah, and also you need to have the proper education because, it's all well and good to go, oh, yeah, Gen Z's leftist, but then you have guys like Nick Fuentes talking to our young men, too.
Yeah, and like, you could say that Gen Z is leftist all you like as well, but that doesn't change the fact that Gen Z is generally speaking more Puritan than millennials are.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't quite get that one. I don't understand where that one comes from. I saw some decent theories, but I don't remember enough about them to talk about.
It's one of those things that actually makes the pendulum theory seem like a possibility, but it's a kind of anti-sexualization that went way too far, in my opinion.
It's like,
because it's one of those things where, yes, they understand that things such as exploitation and fetishization can occur, and that just going, oh, it's fiction isn't 100% an excuse, but they take it so far as to go, oh, yeah, we shouldn't be doing any of this, and any uneven ground is grounds to say this isn't consensual. They'll say that no relationship, I'm saying they, but it's, certain segments will say one thing, certain segments will say another, but there are some people in Gen Z, and granted, there's probably millennials who say this shit too, but they'll
Yeah,
say a no relationship between a man and a woman can be consensual because there is sexism.
or like there's a small age gap or what have you.
Oh, yeah, small age gap. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't care about massive age gaps if you both met when you were adults. Like, if you're 25 and the motherfucker's 70, and that's when you first met, alright, fine.
Yeah, more or less.
I'll be a little confused, but that's your decision
Vaguely
to make.
concerned, maybe, but whatever.
Yeah, that's your decision to make.
You're 25, you can handle yourself.
Yeah, you're 25, you can decide what you think is best for you, but a lot of times...
If you want help, you can ask for it.
Yeah.
You're 25, nerd.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of infantilizing that goes on as well. And granted, this is mostly, like, specific internet subcultures rather than the entirety of the gen.
Yeah, because like the oldest Gen Z are barely younger than me, right? They're like 24, 25 right now.
Yeah, so this...
They're not... I know some of these fuckers, they're not all like this.
Yeah, they're not all like this. Like, this is a specific internet subculture. It's like going, oh yeah, there was a bunch of fucking edgy internet millennials. You could call us, you could kind of call us to some extent the 4chan culture. Not because all of us were on 4chan, but that sort of edgy shock jock, return to the shock jock humor, I say with big air quotes. That kind of edgy internet shit is something millennials engaged in. You still with us, Kat?
Yeah, I was just thinking about like how like even I barely even touched fucking 4chan like ever. I think I've been on there like twice.
Yeah. Admittedly, like, I used it as an extreme example because the kind of Puritan Gen Z is an extreme example, but you can also go, the edgy neckbeard Redditor.
Yeah, that's true. Like for 4chan specifically, like I participated or made posts or whatever like twice, and beyond that, all I've done is just like read threads or
Yeah, like, I
read like fucking screenshots or what have you, that sort of thing. The ones that turn into memes.
Yeah, the shit that we all kind of get, because there are actually interesting people on 4chan and those things who are not neo-Nazis. Why they go there confuses me. But there are
I don't get it either.
there are actually just normal-ass people, normal-ass queer people even, who go there. And, like, yeah, some of it is the culture is different depending on the board. But also, like, when 4chan got the reputation it did, I didn't want to go there. I at least didn't want to post there. But hey, you do you. My main concern with 4chan is the 4chan to skinhead pipeline is real.
Yeah, it's just fucking weird.
Well, I mean, where else are you going to recruit disaffected individuals who don't value their lives?
Yeah, like I get it. It's just weird.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things, you're not exactly seeing, like, communist leftist groups picking up 4chan or picking up Tumblr users. Granted, there aren't exactly as many violent leftist groups, at least not in the proactively violent. There's retaliatory or defensive violence, but that's different.
Yeah, as per my last email, Molotov's you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I am. Sure, I'll firebomb a CEO's building. Sure, why not? Fuck it. Just wheel me over there.
Something that fucks with me is your state actually has better trans laws than my state.
Yeah, if I lived like basically anywhere else in this state, I'd be fine. It's this specific fucking town.
Yeah, it's that specific town. Meanwhile, I'm kind of the opposite in that I'm near a big city. So it's a little bit better for me to get healthcare. But if I lived in a rural, if I lived fuck off nowhere or just anywhere that wasn't around the city, I'd have a harder time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but like I live in a small oil town. My neighbor has a fucking like thin blue line Punisher skull on his truck.
Like, yeah.
What do you expect me to be able to do here?
Yeah,
like sure, like legal wise, I got great like fucking trans and queer bullshit in the laws, but that doesn't help me any when my neighbor could just like take a baseball bat to me, you know?
Yeah.
Which like I also got a baseball bat I could return, but my body is kind of fucked. I can't actually do that anymore.
Yeah, that's the problem here.
Like my reactionary violence sort of deal is genuinely like a result of where I grew up in Texas. I had to be like this. Genuinely. If I didn't grow up in like Azle, Texas, where I did, like right next to fucking Springtown and shit like that, I probably wouldn't be like this.
Yeah. That's absolutely fair.
One of these fucking days.
Yeah, but
it's kind of funny because like people read my like reactionary violence as being passive aggressive somehow. It's like, no, it's the opposite. Like if I hate you, you'll know.
Oh yeah, like there's nothing passive about this, dear.
Fucking there's no weird sarcasm or any of that other bullshit. Like if I dislike something, you're gonna know.
Yeah, and that's why I like talking to you. It's like I can understand you, and you can understand me, because generally speaking, we don't act in like weird sarcasm that isn't obviously a joke or anything like that. I know if I piss you off, you're gonna be like, "Oi,
hey, you stop it."
Yeah, and if something bothers me, I just go, "Hey, X thing," and then you'd be like, "Yeah, sure."
Whether I get it or not, sure, it's fine. I guess. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah.
But this is because like I don't get most things most people do. So I'm constantly in a state of like vague confusion about like what other people do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I
so,
don't
like, why are you like this? I don't understand.
Yeah, like I don't get everything, but if you give me a rule, like don't do this around me, as long as it's, not infringing on my freedom of expression to a great degree, I'll probably do it for you. Even if I don't understand why.
Yeah, like there's a lot of places I won't like do, for example, like dark humor in because like the people there don't like it. And by dark humor, I don't mean like, low racism. I mean like actually dark humor.
Like actual gallows humor.
Yeah, which is what I got. Not the shit that like weirdo right wingers like try to claim as dark humor. No. Talking about the real shit,
Yeah, the
which I
shit.
don't usually show on stream either.
Yeah, the shit. Soldiers actually say to each other.
Which might be, by the way, I might have gotten that from growing up military around a bunch of soldiers.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like yeah, people behave a certain way, or like the one we've talked about on stream before is people who use it's. I don't get it. I would feel dehumanized, but other people do like it for themselves for one reason
Yeah,
or another, and I've seen various explanations from people who have said it. But even if you gave me no explanation whatsoever, and you said, me personally, I want you to refer to me with it's. I'm gonna do it.
yeah. Like it doesn't matter like if I understand or not. All that matters is that I fucking do it.
Yeah. Like the only time.
And honestly, I don't want to understand. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The pronouns you use are the pronouns you use. That's it. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Unless you're actively taking the piss, like you tell me your pronouns are gooner.
It would be really funny.
It would be, but also I'm gonna go, no, you're taking the fucking piss. Give me your second best option.
It's kind of funny that now, finally, after all these years, the attack helicopter thing is no longer a right wing joke and it's now a twin joke.
It really is. Because it's the thing, is we can tell that joke better.
Yeah, which is that always like weirds me out is that these people don't have any good jokes.
Well,
There are ways to make jokes about trans people and fucking gay people and everything. There are ways you can do it. You're just bad at it.
yeah, so here's the explanation. These aren't jokes. Like, they aren't.
Oh, I
Literally.
know. I know the actual thing. It's just fucking.
Alright, well, at least let me
There's like
explain.
no creativity in it.
Let me explain to the audience, at least, then.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
These aren't jokes, not in the way you and I think of them. It is not meant to really achieve a laugh through the surprise or the interest or anything like that. It is something right wingers say to show their allegiance to the idea of being anti-trans, anti-gay, whatever.
Like a miniature version of a dog whistle.
Yeah, it is a dog whistle. So they'll continue to repeat this joke because everybody knows the joke and everybody knows, oh, that means you're a right winger. They don't have to be
It's like that thing
creative.
on fucking dating sites where there's just like, I'm not political. Oh, that means you're conservative.
Yeah, that means you're conservative. Or at most a neolib.
Gross. Fucking liberals. Ugh.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, lib or neolib. Because neolib is like Reagan and Thatcher.
Ugh. Ugh. Gross.
Yeah. Uh, Give me just a minute. I need to rubberneck out my window. I see a lot of lights.
All right, go ahead. just watching your fucking your model. Oh man.
Yeah, it's gonna do that because I'm getting out of my chair. But let's sideways our way because I see lights. Yeah, I think that's an ambulance. Interesting.
Oh, excellent. I was actually kept awake today, because there was a either an ambulance or a fucking fire truck going through the town very close to me.
Lovely. But yeah,
Yeah, some of the things that your model did there was just like very accidentally girlish.
yeah, it's got a little bit of a like a sway to it.
Amber, you should not lay on top of the lint roller, buddy. That's gonna get stuck to your stomach. Sorry, he's behind my tablet monitor, but my lint roller was also there. So he was just trying to lay down on top of the fucking like a roll of tape with the tape on the outside. All right, what the fuck were we talking about?
Um, a lot of things.
Yeah, uh, my brain is stalling on that, which might be a sign that it's time to be finished. Unless you've got something else that you want to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think this is actually a fine wrap up point. Still very much enjoying all the series we're watching. I don't know what we're to expect with the next Rama episode, but I'll be interested to see.
I am eagerly awaiting the ends of at least like one of these things so that I can add Dawn to Dawn onto the thing because that's real fucking good.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I figure once we eventually reach the end of Ranma, we'll maybe try Fruits Basket.
Yeah, well, maybe. We also got Spice and Wolf to do though. So,
That's true. We do have Spice and Wolf, though I actually never watched the original.
oh, that'll be interesting because I did. It'll be the opposite of Ranma. We should do that one next then.
Okay, yeah, we can do that then. So we've got that, Don Da Don, and that might be good enough because that'll
Wow.
last us at
Let's-
least until Don Da Don's over, and then we can maybe think about Fruits Basket.
Hold on, I'm opening my browser back up so I can check my bookmarks to see if there's anything else. It's gonna take a second though because I gotta pause videos that I had up because I'm a huge nerd and I do a lot of research.
Yeah, let me see.
There we go. Let's see. Oop. No, I think that's probably it. Yeah. No, there's nothing else on the list that I really I think that we should really talk about, sort of deal. Like there's some good stuff here, but it's not
Yeah, we've
like
got
Ranma or Demon Lord 2099.
we've got some good. Oh, actually, no. I know one we're gonna do because
What's
we're
that?
Sakamoto days.
Oh yeah. Well, like that's might be a little bit longer than it takes for some of these to end.
Yeah, because
I don't
that's
know the exact like release date of Sakamoto Days.
January.
See.
Yeah,
Doesn't have a specific date. It looks
January
like it just says
11th.
January. Okay, cool. 11th. Well, that we might be able to pick that up right after one of these finishes. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because we can kind of put a little bit of a delay because it'd be kind of silly to do a long ass series. We're going to want to watch Sakamoto Days as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
Because that looks like a good time. It's a
Oh, there was one that just came out this season as well, called Loner Life in Another World, which it's not very good. It's kind of mediocre, in fact, but it's like it's good entertainment, I guess, but not much. There's lose a loner life in another world is one of those things where it's a bit of media that has no theme, and you can tell it's very much just like a rather than a theme, it's a what if kind of deal. And what if stuff can be very cool and interesting and like extremely influential on like
Yeah.
the scale of culture sort of deal because some of those what ifs like became entire ass genres, but this is not one of those. This is just like a basic bitch what if vaguely entertaining thing.
Yeah,
And
fair
I
enough.
think the animators kind of ruined it a little bit because I read the manga as well.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
I
Let's say.
know that or something I have seen that I remembered I did want to say is we're seeing a couple manga now that are clear ripoffs of Solo Leveling and just doing it poorly.
Yeah, like which we talk about this a lot actually, because this is very common in Korea as well. Like the Korean comics that I read, there's a lot of these that are trying to be solo leveling but just can't.
They just can't be. But you can see like there's even one that's like, oh, the Solo Leveling premise of, oh yeah, you're kind of a shitty adventurer and or a shitty diver or whatever, and we're going to leave you in this sacrificial room. But oh, you meet cute vampire girl and she wants to become a VTuber.
Always the fucking cute vampire girls, dude. How much you want to bet it's got silver hair?
Almost certainly.
It's always silver hair. Like I know I did it too, but like I did it once. One vampire that I've made has silver hair. The rest of them are like other weird colors. All right, let's just going down the fucking rainbow of weird colors for hairs.
Yeah, you just did
It's
it
not
on
even
accident or by
well,
subconscious.
like it's not even that the vampire, like the silver hair, came from the vampire portion either. It's from the like she had silver hair even when she wasn't a vampire. God damn it!
Yeah, let's
Ah,
see.
for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but nothing else that came out this season anyway. That I'm
Yeah, it's just
like,
like dawn to dawn, really.
yeah, nothing that I'm really like thinking about
It's
it.
like, don't get me wrong, like Acro Trip and Magie Lumiere are very good and very funny in places and like compelling in others, but they're not fucking Dawn to Dawn or Demon Lord 2099 or Ranma or All Guys Mixer. These ones are like the cut above the rest kind of thing.
Yeah, like if you're really after some women loving women, then I'm in love with the villainess.
I don't know that I like that one very much. Like I know a
Yeah,
lot of people do, but there's something about it.
uh, yeah, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but like something that is so aggressively lesbian, I have to appreciate on some level.
It's true. Yeah, like I did read a lot of the manga, so it's not like it's not like I read two chapters and went nah. I read like 50 and went nah, which
Yeah,
happens occasionally.
yeah, because it's just it's not for everybody, but I do appreciate that much of like it is aggressively lesbian. Like there's no way even like online chuds could deny it's just overtly lesbian.
I mean, yeah, but that's also because like she, if I remember correctly, her name is Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Literally looks at the camera and goes, "I am gay. I like women."
Pretty much. She
I don't
almost.
remember. I don't know if that's in the anime or not, but like she genuinely does do that to another character in the manga. She's talking to some other girls at school. She's just like, "I'm gay. I like women." That's it. Like the girls were literally sitting around like a tea table having tea and
And
eating snacks and shit and talking about their sexualities and like who they like and everything. And
yeah,
she just goes, "Yeah, I'm gay."
yeah. Well, no, what they do is they look at her and go, "Are you a homosexual?" And she goes, "Yes."
Yeah.
Because the "I'm gay, I like women" thing is fucking Ollie from Hololive.
Fair enough. I just know that she basically does like look at the camera and say, "I like women. I'm gay," sort of
Yes.
thing.
Yes. But that particular line, "I'm gay, I like women," is from an Ollie meme.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I was just like pulling out the words out of my head.
You did, because it was part of the video I showed you with Ollie being incredibly unhinged about Kiara.
Oh, okay. Didn't even remember you did that. Shit. Oh well, whatever. It's fine.
But, you know, where she says a lot of things that you would not expect someone from Hololive to be able to say.
Endless gay. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, I'm sorry.
But okay, yeah, now since we've talked about potential upcoming anime that we may talk about when these series are over, I think we are good for this episode.
Yeah, that's it from us. I gotta go eat something anyway because I haven't eaten yet today.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Scroll down below to find links to shit.
Yes, scroll
I'm
down.
pretty sure they're self-explanatory. Just click on them.
Yes, follow the links. Already shilled Moffiz. I will give a Cappy.
Yeah, why not? It's Cappy. We always show Cappy.
We always show Cappy. Cappy's
Cappy Sack.
Yeah, Cappy's been doing more stuff with their Final Fantasy XIV Static. So if you like that kind of content,
I wish I did, but I don't. I don't like rating.
Yeah, it's not necessarily my cup of tea to watch like that in long form content anyway. But Cappy also does art and things. It's just life is busy.
Yes. Life is pain. Anyhow, we're done. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep, see you tomorrow. Sleep willing.